All right, let's get into it. Forget everything you think you know about graphic design, the software, the technical stuff. Today, we're talking about design as a language, as a cultural force, something that can build movements, define an era, and completely change the way you see the world. This is all about the message in the method. No, really. Stop and think about that for a second. We spend all this time arguing about the words on a sign, but what about the visual shout? That choice of font, the color, the way it just owns the space, that's not just decoration. It's a statement. It's the whole vibe of a movement, and trust me, it's sending a message long before you've even had a chance to read it.
And this is the absolute core of what we're talking about today. Every single font you see is loaded. It's packed with history. It's got an attitude. It's telling a story. Some scream revolution, others whisper corporate boardroom. They are never ever neutral. So when you choose a typeface, you're not just picking letters. You're picking a story. You're choosing a voice. So if design is never neutral, what gives it all that power? How does it actually work? Well, it all boils down to the power of form. The idea that the shape of something carries its own meaning, totally separate from the words it's spelling out. Look at this. This slide says it all. You've got the same word, architecture, in two totally different fonts. And they're in two completely different worlds, right? On the left, with that classic ornate font, it feels like a university, a museum, something with deep roots in history. But on the right, that same exact word, in that clean, modern font, suddenly it's a skyscraper, a tech campus. It's the future. The word didn't change, but the feeling, the story, completely different. And that's it right there. The voice changed. By stripping away that more traditional, decorative typeface, you actually removed information. You silenced one story to let another one speak. And that's all the proof you need, that form isn't just a container for the message. Form is the message. Okay, so we know form speaks, but how does it speak? How do designers actually do this? Well, you can think of it like a kind of grammar, a set of basic tools they use to build meaning, to make a page shout or whisper or sing. So, one of the most powerful tools in the box is the relationship between what we call figure and ground. You've got your main subject, the figure, and then you've got everything around it, the ground. You've probably heard it called white space or negative space, but here's the secret. That space is anything but empty. It's an active, powerful player in the whole design. This quote nails it. That space has a job to do. It isn't just the leftover bits on the page after you've put all your stuff down. No, you have to use it with intention. You have to give it a purpose, a role to play in the story you're telling. So what kind of jobs are we talking about? Well, it can create this incredible tension, making things feel like they're being pulled apart. Or it can imply motion, making an object feel like it's floating or flying across the page. It can create serious drama, forcing your eye to one tiny spot in a huge open field. That so-called empty space, a lot of the time, it's doing the heaviest lifting in the whole piece. All right, so designers have these powerful tools, but the materials they're working with, the typefaces themselves, they don't just appear out of nowhere. They come preloaded with meaning. To really get design, you have to look back. You have to listen to the echoes of history. Just look at this timeline. In the 19th century, you have the Industrial Revolution. It's visual chaos out there. Posters and ads are all screaming for attention. So fonts like Clarendon are born out of that noise. They're bold, they're solid, and they're forever linked to that feeling of industry and spectacle. Now fast forward. Fracter. It was this beautiful, historic German script, but then it was co-opted by the Nazi Party for their propaganda. Its meaning was totally twisted, and after the war, it became, culturally toxic. History doesn't just influence design, it can brand it forever. So here's the takeaway, and this is so important. No design choice is ever made in a vacuum. Whether you know it or not, you are always having a conversation with the past. You're using forms and symbols that were forged in revolutions, in art movements, in political struggles. The real skill is knowing what conversation you're stepping into. So once you understand the form, the grammar, the history, what do you do with it? How do you put it all together to build something real? We're not just talking about a logo for a corporation here. We're talking about creating a living, breathing identity for a whole community. Well, it's a process. You start with research. You have to listen, you look at the past, you gather all the visual pieces that set the right tone. Then comes the logo type. That's the hunt for that perfect typographic voice we were talking about. From there, you build out the entire system, the colors that create emotion, the symbols that tell the story. And finally, and this is crucial, you have to test it in the real world. Does it work on a banner, on a website? Does it actually speak for the people it's supposed to represent? Because at the end of the day, that's the whole point. This is so much bigger than just making things look cool. It's about listening, really listening to a community's story, its history, its hopes, its struggles, and then translating that entire world into a visual language. It's about giving a powerful, unified voice to a collective story.
So, what's the bottom line here? Design isn't about making things look good. It's about making things mean something. It's about shaping the world we live in, one choice at a time. So the real question isn't what I'm going to say next. It's what are you going to do with that power? What will you design next?